There's a word in Korean, 인연. It means providence or fate.
Do you believe in that?
That's just something Koreans say to seduce someone.
Makes me feel like I can't
좋다.
live without you here.
뭐가?
Takes me
그냥
all the way. I want
너랑
you to
얘기하는 거?
stay.
The guy flew 13 hours to be here. I'm not gonna tell you that you can't see him or something.
Want you to stay.
I want to know what was your inspirations and how the whole idea came about for you.
Well, so it really did start when I was sitting in this bar in New York City, sitting between my childhood sweetheart who had come to visit me from Korea, who is now a friend, and my husband that I live with in New York City. And they don't speak each other's language. So I was translating between the two of them, just the small talk, you know? And I was just realizing that as I was doing it, that like, not only am I translating between two different cultures and two different languages, but also I was translating between two parts of my own self and two parts of my own history. So I think that that revelation was really the moment where I was just thinking like, maybe that could be a story that I tell. And I think that really was the beginning of the whole story.
That's so beautiful. So the first scene, it's real. The first scene.
I mean, like, it's like, I feel like that really was the launch point for the whole movie. Like, I feel like that was the thing that really was the sort of the inspiration for how the entire film came about. It's kind of a funny thing because I feel like it isn't like an American story too, because it's like, it is very different than the stories that probably come out of Korea, because it's so specifically about the immigrant experience. But I do know that, like, I'm sure that you guys in Brazil, like, you guys probably understand actually so well, probably even better than people in America or in in parts of Europe or something. I'm sure it's such a feeling that we know, which is the bilingualism of it, like the kind of like having two languages and many different parts of ourselves. That really is like I think that we all feel connected to, which is like, like the way time moves, right? Like we're no longer 16, but we were all 16 once. So there is nostalgia for that. But I think we should think is really what the movie is about. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you said, that it's two languages they're spoken in the movie.
Yeah.
Were you afraid about the subtitles, the American people and subtitles? Because here in Brazil, we are very used to use subtitles. Yeah, we
But
are.
that's what I mean. That's what I know you guys don't have a problem with that, especially
No,
if you guys watch K-drama and like I'm like, yeah, I know you guys have no problem with that at all. But
no,
like
we
I'm
don't.
like,
But
yeah, but
we know that American people in United States they have
yeah.
this problem. How was it for you?
Well, I think that it was totally it was okay because of, thanks to, honestly, I would say Parasite, and also because of during COVID, so many people started watching things on their TV, and they all have their subtitles on, like Netflix, whatever. Like they just started to put subtitles on even when they're watching English language things, right? So people, when Past Lives came out, like no one really had a problem with the subtitles in a funny way. Like I was kind of amazed and happy that nobody gave me problems about the subtitles, because they were all now by then pretty used to subtitles. I think it's like thanks to Parasite, and then it was thanks to people starting to watch things, with subtitles on all the time, right? So like
I read a review that called Past Lives, one of the most romantic films of 2023. Do you agree with that?
Maybe. Well, I think the idea of a romance, what's so important is that, like, of course, like there are something that I think that we need to communicate. I would want to make sure that we communicate to the audience in Brazil. We talk about it as a romance, and it's a very romantic film, but it's like a romantic film in a way where it is about love, right? It's not about dating. Does that make sense? Like, so I think some of it is like, because of course, like when we talk about love, so many love stories are about who's gonna be my boyfriend, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Like so much of that is like about the label of like kind of labeling your romantic relationship. Like what kind of, are we lovers? Like there are like ways in which you talk about it like that. But Past Lives is about love, but it's about love that doesn't have a name, right? It's about the love that we just feel for people, for each other, that that you can't really put a name to, because you're like, well, I don't know who we are to each other. I don't know, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend or anything, but I just know that when we look at each other, we feel something. Like when we look at each other, you feel like home to me. Like when we look at each other, I just know that we love each other and we don't even have to say anything, right? So I think in that way, that's to me the thing that feels really important to talk about, which is that like, well, it's about the ephemeral love. It's about love that really is about a kind of an ephemeral feeling, and less about like who's going to be the boyfriend, right? Because it's like, it is so much more important to me that it's like, it is about the way that people come in and out of our lives, and there's no name for that person, but that person represents for you something, right? The character of Hae Sung is somebody for Nora is who she was when she was 12, right? And is to her, Hae Sung is Seoul, Hae Sung is Korea, right? So it's like for her, and it's not like they're best friends or like they were boyfriends and girlfriend. They're not, right? They're not married. They're not anything. There's no word for who they are to each other, who Hae Sung and Nora are to each other. But they feel something. They feel a connection, and they feel this thing inyeon, which I'm like, if you know a lot about K-pop, K-drama, they talk about inyeon all the time. Like it's that feeling of like, how amazing, what a miracle that you and I are here at the same time. So it's like, you know, like Fernanda, like you and I, like we clearly knew each other in our past lives. That's how we're able to be here talking about my first movie. And I hope we get to talk about my next movie and the movie after that, right? And in which case, like, you know, 5 movies from now, you're gonna talk about it, and I'll be like, oh my God, Fernanda, I can't believe it. We're such deep inyeon, because we talked to each other for like 5 years about 5 different movies. What an amazing thing. What a special conversation we had. And you and I are inyeon, right? So, but it doesn't mean that it has to take the shape of something that is like more traditional romantic thing. It can just be simple as like, well, you and I had a great conversation, right? And then now I know that you and I are there. We must mean that the reason why we are here is because of many lives before that we shared in some way. That's how we're able to be here. So in that way, I think that it's a romantic film in a way of it being about the inyeon, right? It's a romantic film, and it's about the connection that doesn't have a name. Yeah, as opposed to like, you know, I just don't want them to think that it's like a K-drama where it's like, who is the boyfriend? You know what I mean? Like, who is she gonna date? Because it's really not that. It's really so much more about, I don't know, I'm sure you would have this where you meet somebody and you talk to them and you're like, huh, I think that we just knew each other for a long time in our past life. And for some reason we feel really connected. And maybe that person is like not, you know, the person you end up with, but it's more like, I don't know, I just feel like we've known each other forever, you know? Yeah.
That's so beautiful, Celine. Really, that's
Thank you.
amazing. I really thought that it's a romantic movie, but now I really think it's more than this.
Yeah. Well, I think that it is a romantic movie fundamentally, but I think it's like, but I certainly don't want the expectation to be K-drama expectation.
I know.
Because it's not gonna be like that, you know?
I know. If you want
You've
K-drama,
seen it,
watch
well,
K-drama, right?
Yeah, K-drama, if you want K-drama, you can watch K-drama. But this is like, you know, it's really, but it is about a Korean concept. It's about a K concept, right? Which is this idea of inyeon, right?
That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
nice.
Wow.